In this episode of Man vs. Marriage, who is Aaron Clutcher? Unscripted.
The podcast.
How good do you want your life to be?
It's truly about becoming the best version of yourself that's possible.
This is Man vs. Marriage.
The podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of Man vs. Marriage. It is I, the Q Dog, in the Moran family studio with my son, Aaron. What's up, Aaron? Say hello to everybody.
Hello, how everybody doing?
I know everybody was ready to hear my lovely wife, Jeannie, and for her to say hello. But today we have Mr. Aaron Clutcher in the house. And on a whim, I decided to get you on the microphone because I know that you have made the decision. You've kind of taken the Man versus Marriage challenge of becoming a better man, even though you're not getting married or have intentions to get married anytime soon.
No, sir.
So with that, I mean, you don't have to hear me through a podcast. You have to live with me. So I wanted to get you on the program so that you could talk about why you decided, you know, as a 23-year-old young man, why you decided to change your life, because you were, you know, living in another state, had another career. You decided to make a big move, and then you decided to start to change your life. So I know this is really all of a sudden unscripted, putting you on the spot, but why did you decide to change yourself? What made you do that?
Well,
Stay up here on the microphone too, okay, buddy?
okay.
There you go.
So the reason why I decided I wanted to become a better man, just my family history and thinking about how we was raised and how my mom and them was raised. I'm like, something got to change.
Yeah.
And I realized I couldn't do that in Louisiana. So like, let me go back where there's people that love me and I have a lot of support and they will push me to become a better person. So that's really what made the big decision to me to become a better person. To just look at my family history like something got to change.
Gotcha. So you decided to make a different path. Okay. Now, I know you out there might be asking yourself, if he's your son, why are you Quincy Moran and he's Aaron Clutcher? And that's a good question. And to give you a little history, 10 years ago, actually maybe it was more, maybe it was like 12 years ago, we were introduced to Aaron and his family, and we became a part of their support system. He grew up 7 brothers and sisters.
Yeah, 7 of us.
And single mom, and they went to the same church that we did. And, you know, big families, especially single parents, they can use help. So we had a big family growing. You know, your mom had a big family, and there were some relatable things there.
Just put it together and made one big old family.
Yeah. So we, you know, and the church as a whole was a good support system for your family. But that's where I met Aaron. It was back in those days, and he became a part of the Moran Brothers trio, and became our cameraman for a while. And that was when myself and my brother started a weight loss channel on YouTube. So I got to know him, and I got to know his younger brother, actually his whole family. And we kind of blended them and made them a part of our family to be like, say, his mom was like a sister to us and their kids, maybe like a niece or nephew, but, you know, just coming from where we're at, it's a just say Daddy Quincy, Mama Jeannie. That's just kind of that was the role. We were,
Oh yeah,
hybrid parental figures, if you will.
and I'm very grateful.
Me too, man. So then, we were in touch for a while, and then we kind of lost touch, and you moved away to Louisiana, and you let me know you were coming back into town. At that time, it wasn't like I had made any plans, and I don't know that you had made any plans for, obviously we were going to try to get together and hang out.
Oh yeah.
But nothing like you coming and becoming a part of the family. I didn't really know that wasn't necessarily in the cards.
Oh, it was just when I first came back, it was like I wanted to get back to my roots and talk to the people I wanted to talk to, but it was just like it wasn't gonna be moving in, just friends and somebody need advice, and I think the first day I came back, it just took off.
Did it?
It was just like Daddy Quincy's back.
What? So you decided to leave Louisiana and come back to kind of get back to your roots and do something different and make a different path for yourself. What do you like? Because I haven't been 20 something in 20 something years. Okay. So I'm just trying to get some young man's perspective on, at this early age, I wasn't thinking about making myself a better man in my early 20s. I was, in the throes of the early stages of marriage and becoming a parent. So I was already doing something different. But what is one thing what's one thing with inside yourself that you looked at and said, I want to be different because?
Well, it started off when me and my ex-girlfriend started off with that, and I was just thinking about, I see a lot of my mom's traits inside me, how she was getting treated and stuff. I wasn't doing nothing bad. It was just like, I see a lot of my mom right now, and it's not good. And my mom's not a bad person, but she has some ways. So like, let's see if I could keep the things that she taught me to better myself.
Gotcha. So almost like you're saying you want to keep the things that were good and healthy, but the things that weren't helping you, like you wanted to change.
To keep like the stuff she always taught us was what goes on in the house, stay in the house, and that's something that tears me up a lot. So I realized I have to go. Once I have a problem, always go back and find that one person or find somebody to talk to.
To be able to, like, somebody you can confide in too.
Yeah.
So you saw some areas of your life that, like, you saw them and you were like, this is something that needs to change.
Oh yeah.
Right. Now I know you've heard this probably 1,000 times, just because we've spent a lot of time together in the last, say, going on 8 months. Well, let's see, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. Yeah, we're on 8 months here.
Wow.
But and one of those main points that I've discussed with you is this might be who you are now, but it's not who you have to be. You can decide who you want to be. So looking at a young 20-year-old buck like yourself, and it's hard to define really, on the spot, but what kind of man do you want to be? You want to go, Hunter's coming to the door, but what kind of man do you think you want to be?
I want to be, well, actually not the hard. We actually talked about this before.
Oh, okay.
The man that could provide for his family and don't have to live for check to check every week. It's like, that's something like, oh my gosh, that's not what I want to do. I want to make sure I have, when I get kids, when they say, oh, I need this for school. Okay. Or I don't want to say, I see what I can do. Or let me see if I could call somebody to give me the money. Like how we was raised. I want to just be like, okay, you need it for school, let's go get it.
Let's go get it. So, you know, like one of the number one things you're saying then is you want to be self-sufficient
Oh yeah.
as a provider for your family. I'm just writing this down if you hear the silence. What now? It sounds to me like that you didn't have that
No.
growing up. So why is that? Why is that important to you? I mean, maybe it's obvious, but I want to hear from you. Why is that important to you?
Cause just recently watched my brothers grow up, and they knowing that they needed stuff and we couldn't give it to them, or not. But my mom and stuff is like, this has been going on for too long now, and we need to make a change. And it has to start with somebody. And then what really kicked it off when I decided I wanted to make a change, I talked to you about him, Stephen Furtick. And he was this church on YouTube, and he had Pastor, what's his name, T.D. Jakes there. And he was saying that to stop family things, they had to be that one person to say, hey, this is gonna stop, and this is gonna change, and we're gonna break the chains of the family, and break our family curse and start it over. So ever since I heard that, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be that one to do it.
Yeah, you're gonna be the one to forge like a new path.
Yeah.
In your family's history, and I think that definitely lines up with something that we talked about, because you were struggling to find what your purpose is. And you remember that conversation?
Yep.
And it was hard for you to find your purpose because you thought maybe it had to do with fame and fortune. That was what your big purpose was about.
Yeah, to be the main provider,
but we kind of came to another conclusion, and I think just hearing you say it right there is a bigger deal, because in this you want to be self-sufficient, but like we talked about that day, and I just got a greater understanding of it, is you want to be meaningful in the lives of your family. Just jotting down some notes. And you want to forge a new path for your family's history. And I got to tell you, in my opinion, there's no amount of fortune or fame that could replace what you're trying to do for your family's sake. Because what you're going to do is you're going to start something new for your family, and then the goal for that is to get your kids to be one step ahead of that. Oh, yeah. And progressively, generation after generation, you change it a little bit now, and before you know it, your family's history has changed within your line. And then you talked about for your two younger brothers, that you wanted to set an example for them as well, right?
Yes, sir.
So that you could change their history. And then for your sisters, because you have 4 sisters as well.
Yep.
And why is it important for you to show them what's possible? Or does that even matter? Do you not give a crap about them and you just want to take it for yourself? Or what?
No, I want it. Everything I'm going to do to make it better, and everything I'm learning. I got 2 older sisters, but they still learn from me as well. But especially for my 4 younger ones, my 2 younger sisters, my 2 younger brothers, I want to show them, like, okay, y'all don't have to go by this way. This is an alternate route to it. This is how you can do it this way, and you can do it that way, and stuff. And then trying to find an easier route, but not as easy. It's gonna be. I already know not gonna be. There's gonna be like mountains to climb,
Sure.
but I wanted to make the mountain climb easier instead of the way we've been going.
Yeah. And that I respect that. I truly do. This is not made for podcast respect. This is truly respectable because what you're doing is something that will your family in the future. You may not see it now, but your family in the future, years ahead, will thank you for because you've decided to go in a different direction. You've decided to make yourself the best absolute man that you can be. And you're going to do for your kids what your father, whoever he is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What he didn't do for you, which is be there to love and support you and help you grow.
Right, that's another big thing. Just I want to. There's a lot of in our family. None of the fathers really stayed.
Yeah.
It went from my uncle. He didn't. He has a couple of kids. He's not in their life and all that. It's like that's another thing I wanted to change too. Like, where's the father? Then I realized the different definition from a dad and a father. A dad is a person that's just I did this with your mom and it was you. But a father is somebody that's gonna be there, be in their kid's face, even though if their mom and dad not together, but still gonna be in their face. That's something I just want to do too. Like, if I have a kid, I would love for me and my significant other to stay together. But if it ever came to that point, I still want to become that father. Like, I'm not gonna leave. I'm gonna be in your face 24/7 like I'm near.
Gotcha. That's I mean, we didn't have nothing planned to say anyway.
Oh yeah.
You know, this is a spur of the moment situation. But the difference between a dad and a father from your perspective, that's a big deal, bro.
Oh yeah.
That means something. And you want to be a father. You don't want to just be a donor.
Yeah.
And that's what a dad is, in your opinion, is a donor. And then gone. That's respectable, dude. I'm just writing that down. I don't know what we'll ever do with this, but I want to write this down.
Oh yeah.
So, just it hasn't even been a year, okay? It hasn't been a year. But what are some things that you can think about? Say, try to come up with 3 or 4 of some things that you do now that you did not do when you were in Louisiana. What are some things you do now that would benefit you in your success?
It's been hard, but I follow through now with plans. I speak more highly of myself instead of turn myself down. Then the third one, my walk with God is stronger now, and I don't know if that's because of where I'm at, because I got a lot of people that walk. I'm around a lot of people that walk with God and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see my walk with God is stronger. I do my prayer time a lot now, and I do a lot of self-reflection.
Self-reflection?
Yeah, self.
Okay, because you probably did some self-infliction before. So it's good to know that you're doing some self-reflection.
Yes, self-reflection.
It's reflection. Okay, and do you know what self-reflection comes from?
No.
It's like when you look in the mirror and you see your reflection. So you're reflecting on yourself, your attitude, your habits. You look at how you're acting, you're speaking, and what you're doing. And when we kind of started out, all the lessons that I'm giving you, I don't give you these lessons without first reflecting on myself or endeavoring to change myself. So anytime I'm giving you advice or chewing you out or encouraging you or holding you accountable, these are things that I live by my own code. This is the lifestyle I lead on behalf of myself. And self-reflection is where it starts so that you can see, well, this is who I am right now. But I want to be better here. So that's what really the loose definition of self-reflection is. Now, what are some things that you're actually doing though? Like what you're telling me, what you're doing now, these are things that you weren't doing before. These are a product of something. These are like, because you're doing something, you're doing these things now. What are things that you're actively like physically doing or mentally doing to make these things possible?
Okay, well, let's start with my walk with God. First thing I do every morning, I get up and I do a prayer time hour.
Okay.
So our prayer time that gets my day started. That's how I could have a bad day but still come home act like nothing happened. Cause then also I do that Jocko speech that I love, the good speech that has a big part of that one too.
Yeah.
Of the even though something go bad, good. So that's the first thing I do in my day. I do my work with God. Then what was the second one?
There was follow through and speak more highly.
Follow through. Okay. The follow through as well. I'm in EMT school, but I did talk to you about me wanting to stop doing that, but other than that, it's been straight following through, make sure I stay in it, don't start nothing and I finish it. Then the other one was speak highly of myself. Every day I look at myself and I'm like, it started off with me wanting to lose weight, get my body right. So it's like, okay, you look in the mirror, oh boy, you looking good today.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So you're like encouraging yourself as you see yourself in the mirror. That's good. And why, in your opinion, is it like important to follow through on something?
To follow through because really nobody else in my family followed through with anything. I already followed through something that was firefighting in Louisiana. I was the first one to have, on my mama's side, the first one to have a good job, the first one to have their license and have a car.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and I also had help doing that, but I followed through that. And then when I was in the academy, it was hard at first because like I was far from home and stuff, and I was like, there goes and stuff.
That's all right. That's all right.
Well, I was far from home, and how we are, my family, the kids, we are close to each other. And then me as the oldest out there, it was like my sister would call me, hey, Josiah need help with this, or Josiah can't do this, or my mom is doing this to my little brothers, or my mom's having trouble with this. So at first it was hard, but my fire chief, Lee Stanley, he came to visit me one day. He's like, I talked to him, he's like, you're not going nowhere. He was like, you wanted to do this, and this is what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So
good. It's good that you've had, people in your life like that will help you follow through. So you said you were the first to get a good job. You're the first to get your license on your mom's side as far as get your DL, and then the first to get your own vehicle. So really, if we look at it, two-way, Aaron, it's not anything new for you to be the first.
Oh yeah.
In your family. And I want you to let that sink in for a minute, for the times when it gets hard, because we know it's been very difficult. There's been some very difficult situations. We've had to have difficult conversations. You've had difficult conversations with family members, and Mom and I challenge you on a weekly basis. Sometimes it probably feels like a daily basis. But you're not, it's not a new concept that you're going to be the first to do something in your family. And you actually have 3 things right here, you just pulled off the top of your head. You have 3 areas of success in your life that you can point to when things get hard, when they get tough, and you want to quit. To look at it and say, I can't quit because I'm going to accomplish something. I've done it here. I've done it with a job. I've done it with a driver's license. I've done it with having a car. I can do this. And it may be easier for your brothers and your sisters to do that behind you. It's not going to be easy for you because you're making a new path. When you're making a new path, that's the hardest work. You're trying to make a new path so you can pave the way for other people. So it'll be a little easier for them, but it's not going to be easy for you. And I don't want you to forget that.
Yes, sir.
That's why when you came to me about going a different direction rather than EMT, that's why I had to oppose you there and say, let's finish. Let's finish. Those are the same conversations I've had to have with myself. So I've been there, and that's why I can speak to you about that. Why is it important to talk more highly about yourself as opposed to tearing yourself down?
Because when people say they go through depression, there's another. I was doing a week message thing with Stephen Furtick, Pastor Stephen Furtick on YouTube, and he speaks on how bad when people go through depression, it starts with themselves. Because that's how it starts, with you speaking bad about yourself. Oh, I'm too big, or I don't like how this look on me, or that. That's where it starts. So okay, for me not to go back to the state of mind I was in Louisiana, I had to go and say, I gotta speak highly of myself more. Because I did have a little depression. It wasn't I'm not saying I wasn't deep in depression, but I was feeling bad by myself. And then that's why I said, okay, I was doing that. I was saying this about myself, or I was saying bad things about myself. I used to tell my best friends in Louisiana, I tell them I got the worst luck in the world. But now I be I got good luck. It's just all that stuff that happened was just a minor setback. So that's why.
I know you got one of your favorite sayings in there. You could really say right there. The setback.
The setback and
what is your favorite saying right there?
And stuff.
No, not and stuff. Come on, 2A. You would tell me that this is a minor setback
for a major comeback.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's good. It's good to have things to say to yourself. It's also good to find value in yourself, because if you yourself can't find value in who you are, how can you expect other people to do the same thing? How is that possible? So it's interesting, and I don't think I can say this very effectively, but you're not who you think you are. You're not who other people think you are. You usually walk around with who you think other people think you are. And you're going off of other people, your assumption of other people's opinion of who you are, as opposed to defining who you are, which is what you've started to do now. You've started to define who you are, and then when you speak more highly of yourself, once you redefine it and you constantly define it, then you can become confident in who you are. And that's what you're doing. So I'm proud of you for that. And then as far as, I think we might have caught them all. I think we got.
Oh, yeah.
We did follow through. We got speaking more highly of yourself, and, your walk with God is stronger. So that's good. And we're just looking at 3 things that you did first in your own life. If you were sitting across the table from a good friend of yours that was struggling, just knowing where you are now, what's one piece of advice that you could give them if they found their self in your situation, which was, here's something that I'm not happy about in my life, I want to do something different? What advice would you try to give them?
I will tell them the first thing to do, just go sit down by yourself and take a piece of paper. And I did this because my first step was take it and I write all the good things and all the bad things. Then for me to start off my plan, I had to realize, okay, I got that. I have to have that one good memory of this good thing. Pick one good thing that you're like, oh yeah, that makes me happy. Mm-hmm. Pick that one good thing and go on with that. So now that you got your one good thing to start your journey, now the second thing is find out a person you could talk to about everything. After you do that, you gotta find somebody you could talk to about everything that's been going on since you've been feeling horrible or been depressed or anything. Find out one person like, okay, I could come to you midnight, 3 o'clock in the morning, anything. If I send a text to you, I could say, you're going to get up and come meet me, or we be on the phone for hours just to talk. Then after we talk, we can sit down and laugh about, change the subject. That's to be the thing. Find somebody you could talk to. Mm-hmm. That'll be the next thing. Then the third thing is to find somebody. It could be the same person that's going, you say you want to do this, that they're going to push you to do it. They're going to keep you to keep going, not going to take it easy like, oh, okay, well, maybe next time. No, you say you want to do it, you're going to do it.
Gotcha. So what you want to do is point to one area, find something in your life that you're grateful for.
Oh, yeah.
Is that right? Then find someone in your life that you can trust to talk to, right?
Yes.
And then find someone in your life who's going to challenge you and hold you accountable. I respect that.
Oh, yeah, because I realized the road of being better is not easy. You always gotta have you gotta have a support group.
You do.
It's something you can't do on your own. And a lot of people, I don't know. A lot of people say they made on their own and stuff, but I realized, are they really happy with that? Mm-hmm. Making on their own. Some people got fame and fortune, but are they really happy? And the people I've met that's really happy had a good support group that's full of happy people. So.
Right on. So it matters who you surround yourself with. Mm-hmm. Good or bad.
Yeah. I feel like if you feel like you're on your own, then you're going to feel like that for the rest of your life, that you don't need nobody else. And it's going to come with a bad attitude. And the bad attitude comes with burning bridges. Mm-hmm. So if you find yourself, I need help, or friends or family, somebody that loves me, just for me, they could say, I'm not going to give it to you. I'm going to make you do what you want to do.
Awesome. That's good, man. I like that. I think that's going to help some people. I think it will.
I'm praying it does.
For it being an episode that was completely unplanned and just like a open-ended conversation to start, I mean, I had an idea what I wanted to ask you, but I think you came up with some really good things there. And, based on who you were, not staying there, who you want to be, goals that you have for your life, success from the past, and how you can move forward, and then having a baseline of advice to give somebody so that you can help them through. It's a big show. It's a big help. And I know, you want to be able to help and motivate people to do these kinds of things, but I think it's important to know what you got in you. So that's a good show, bro.
Oh yeah.
That's a good show. Anything that you want to say as a final parting word to the audience?
Thank y'all for having me on the show.
Yeah.
It was very fun. When you first told me about this, like a couple hours ago, like, you want to do it today? I was like, hold on. And I'm playing. It was like my speech. I was like, oh Lord, here we go. But I'm very happy. I didn't know it was gonna come out this well. So
Yeah, I'm proud of you. You did good, and I appreciate you being willing. None of this growth, no matter how many monologues I give you or what example I live in front of you, none of that goes anywhere to change you. You have to be willing
really to do the change.
to change. You got to be willing to put the work in. You have to be willing to be coachable. And you're proving to yourself that you can be and that you are. And, you know, where you're going, you just got to continue to do work every day. Right?
Yes, sir.
All right, man.
All right.
Well, I love you, buddy.
Love you too.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
All right. That is 2A, a.k.a. Aaron Clutcher. I am Quincy Moran, and this is Man versus Marriage.
The podcast. How good do you want your life to be?
You gotta live on purpose, for a purpose.
It's truly about becoming the best version of yourself that's possible. This is Man vs. Marriage, the podcast.